Shabbat Shalom. Baruch et Yahweh. Baruch et Yahweh HaMevarak. Baruch atah Yahweh HaMevarak le'elam vayet. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech ha'alam. Asher bekar benu makol hamayim v'natan lanu ha'torah. Baruch atah Yahweh notan ha'torah. It's to say, blessed be Yahweh. Blessed be Yahweh, the blessed one. Blessed are you, Yahweh, the blessed one for all eternity. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us your Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah, to the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yisrael, to our King, our Savior, our Deliverer, our Provider, and our Sustainer, and our El. Master, do we come before you today with bowed head and humble hearts, asking you, Master, to forgive us of our sins and cleanse us of unrighteousness, that our prayers be not hindered this day. Master, we also ask that you would forgive our ancestors that sinned against you, Master, that has us exiled in this land. Oh, Master, we ask that you would throw their transgressions into the sea of forgetfulness, Master, to remember them no more. Likewise, Master, do the same for us, O King, for we come out on this day, your Sabbath day, the day that you set apart. And you said those that honor this day shall be in a covenant with you. So we thank you for this day, Master. We thank you for knowledge, wisdom, and the understanding that you gave us, that we have now left idolatry and we worship only you, O King. For we believe thy report, Master, when you said that no man can die for your sins. We believe your report, O King, that Israel is your son. Master, we just want to thank you for all things. We want to thank you for food, clothing, and shelter. We want to thank you for life, health, and strength. Master, we ask that you would look upon those that are here and the families that are gathered and the ones that are represented, Master, and you know all of our needs and you know all of our desires, O King. And we ask that you would show us favor, Master, because we do honor thy word, because we fear you. So out of obedience and out of love and out of fear do we assemble here today. We ask, O Master, that you would look upon those that cannot be here for whatever reason, whether they may be sick in their bodies, Master, or whether the distance may be too far. But you know each one, Master. You know them by heart. You know them by name. We ask that you would continue to heal their bodies, for you are El Rapha. You are our healer, O King. You are our sustainer, Master. We thank you for this assembly this day, for we assemble in the name of Yahweh, Master, and we bless thy name, and we come to bless thee. We ask that you would continue to show us your mercies, O King, that you show us every morning as you renew them daily, and continue to speak kind words towards us, O Master, for we know that your words shall not go out empty. They shall not fall to the ground, and they shall not come back void, but shall accomplish all that you sent it out to do. So speak no evil against us, O King, for we are thy people and the sheep of thy pasture. Speak kind words towards us, Master. We thank you that you have kept our children, Master, as they have traversed throughout this world this week, and that you have brought them home to us safely, O King. O Master, we assemble today just giving thanks to your name, and we ask that you would keep us until we meet here again. This is our prayer.
We're going to read today from Psalms 105. Let us read together. Give thanks to Yahweh, call on his name, make his deeds known among the peoples. Sing to him, sing praises to him, talk about all his wonders, glory in his set-apart name. Let those seeking Yahweh have joyful hearts. Seek Yahweh and his strength, always seek his presence. Remember the wonders he has done, his signs, and he has spoken rulings. Your descendants of Abraham, his servant, you, offspring of Yaakov, his chosen ones. He is Yahweh our El. His rulings are everywhere on earth. He remembers his covenant forever. The word he commanded to 1,000 generations, the covenant he made with Abraham, the oath he swore to Yitzchak and established as a law to Yaakov. For Israel as an everlasting covenant. To you I will give the land of Canaan as your allotted heritage. When they were but a few in number, and not only few, but aliens there are too, wandering from nation to nation. From his kingdom to that people, he allowed no one to oppress them. Wait a minute. Wait, wait. When they were but few in number, and not only few, but aliens there too, wandering from nation to nation, from this kingdom to that kingdom, he allowed no one to oppress them. Yes, for their sakes, he rebuked even kings. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Don't touch my anointed ones or do my prophets harm. Now, wait. We got to stop a minute. We have been quoting this scripture, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. No, but he says, don't touch my anointed ones. Hear, Hebrew Israel. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. The Most High said, don't touch you or do my prophets no harm. He called down famine on the land, broke off all their food supply. He sent a man ahead of them, Joseph, who was sold as a slave. They shackled his feet with chains and they bound him in irons until the time when his word proved true. Yahweh's utterance kept testing him. The king sent and had him released. The ruler of peoples set him free. He made him lord of his household, in charge of all he owned, correcting his officers as he saw fit and teaching his counselors wisdom. Then Israel too came into Egypt. Yaakov lived as an alien in the land of Ham. There Yahweh made his people very fruitful, made them too numerous for their foes, whose hearts he turned to hate his people and treat his servants unfairly. He sent his servant Moshe, Aaron, whom he had chosen. They worked his signs among them, his wonders in the land of Ham. He sent darkness, and the land grew dark. They did not defy his word. He turned the water into blood and caused their flesh to die. Their land swarmed with frogs, even then in the royal chambers. He spoke, and there came swarms of insects and lice throughout the land. He gave them hail instead of rain, with fiery lightning throughout the land. He struck their vines and fig trees, shattering trees all over their country. He spoke, and locusts came. Oh my goodness, come on now. Come on now. Come on. I got to pause here. Is there any text across the street where that guy commanded the authority that the Most High has commanded? It says that the Most High spoke and locusts came. Also grasshoppers without number. They ate up everything green in their land, devoured the fruit in their ground. He struck down the firstborn of their land, the firstfruits of their strength. Then he led his people out, laden with silver and gold among the tribes, not one stumbled. Egypt was happy to have them leave because fear of Israel had seized them. He spread out a cloud to screen them off and fire to give them light at night. When they asked, he brought them quails and satisfied them with food from the Shamayim. He split a rock and water gushed out, flowing as a river over the dry ground. For he remembered his set-apart promise to his servant Abraham. He led his people with joy, his chosen ones with singing. Then he gave them the lands of the nations, and they possessed what peoples had toiled to produce in order to obey his laws and follow his teachings. Hallelujah. All praise to the mighty Yah. All praise to the mighty Yah. Now, that's the Psalms right there that you need to read often. It proclaims the might, strength, and wonders of the set-apart one. It don't talk about no alien. It talks about the one who is mighty, Yahweh. All praise to the mighty Yah. You may be seated. I tell you all, you know what? It is just, it's just, ah, it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful. It's so, it, 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 it removes words from your vocabulary, even to be able to talk about the wonders and the majesty of our King, Yahweh. Awesome in power. He speaks and things happen. He's not dependent upon anybody. He rules with authority. And the awesome thing about it is, you know what I love about him? He does not change his mind. And whatever he said will come to pass. He says, my word shall go out and it shall not return to me void. It shall accomplish the purpose for which it has been sent. Now that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, as always, when he's teaching, he comes with flair. So I want to introduce to you and bring to the pulpit at this time the honorable, the representable Maurice Appleton.
Is that what they do when they come into the arena? Oh my goodness. I'm excited to be here in front of you. To all of you that are here, I always have to start by acknowledging who I represent. We must know that. You must know who's coming to talk to you as anybody on the behalf of the Most High. So I come in the one that is the beneficent. Eye Asher Eye. Yahweh Sevaot. Yahweh Rapha. The healer. The one that has created all things from nothing. That has delivered our people from the house of bondage in Mitzrayim, our ancestors, has allowed us to see the works of the Most High, to be set apart as a nation unto the Most High, who has only been designated for Hebrew Israel. That one is the one that I come in the name of. The one that commanded Moshe, our ancestor, to be able to teach our people the Most High's ways so we can be set apart. So I thank the Most High, the beneficent, for allowing me to be here with all of you. One. Mo. Again, just to tell you like it, T.I. is. Shabbat shalom to all of you. For those of you that are joining us by way of the stream, Shabbat shalom to you today, to all our descendants that are not here. Hopefully you will be able to stand on the shoulders of giants and see further. We only have a certain amount of information that is allotted to us in this dispensation of time, trying to be Hebraic in exile. Hopefully the information that we're laying the groundwork today will allow you to be better at being Hebraic, that you may matriculate back into the land as the Most High sees fit. So Shabbat shalom to all of you. To our dignitaries that are in the room with me today. Actually, I'm going to go in reverse. We're going to do something a little different today. I'm going to just go out of sequence a little bit. So, matter of fact, I'm going to acknowledge everybody that's here in this room right now, okay? Our studio audience. I usually do you guys last, but we're going to move you up in the liturgy here today. So, you ready to go subterranean? Yeah. You ready to go to the stratosphere? Yeah. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to everyone here in our studio audience. Now, to our dignitaries that are here in the room, to Ambassador Beacom, Shabbat shalom to you today, sir. Matter of fact, I need you to come up on stage here with me. I'm going to call you up here too. Moray, don't look confused. Yeah, y'all, come on. Moray Trey Beverly, Shabbat shalom to you today, sir. To Ambassador Harless, who is flawless at helping me keep track of where I'm going. In our media station back there, Shabbat shalom to you. To Ambassador Johan Tate, Shabbat shalom to you, sir. Look how they just lined up in a little line. Y'all just conformed real good. Where's that handheld microphone? I need that real quick. I'm leaving out somebody. Ambassador King Charles. King Charles. Okay. All right. I don't want to, it's on. He said, yeah, your helpmate, where's she at? She says, there's like 20 red buttons back here. There you go. I'm leaving out somebody out of this whole entire thing. No. We got him. I got to do this real quick, okay? Tomorrow earmarks something for somebody very special here in this house. This man will have been on the earth for 80. He don't want to finish that second number. It's what we call being an octogenarian. When you are in your 80s, right? I called these gentlemen up here today with me because I believe in giving people their flowers while they're here. Okay? This man has been a mentor to me and a friend more than anything else. There is a kindred spirit that we have there because we both believe and understand. We don't believe, we know about the Most High. We share a kindred spirit that he's reeling in his seat right now. If he's like me, he's just like, you know what? Come on. We don't like recognition. We don't like it. But you're not going to get out of it today. I believe that everybody that's sitting in a seat in here today has been impacted by the teachings that the Honorable Robert B. Holman Jr. has given in this house. How many of you have learned something? How many of you have gotten, matter of fact, look at this right here. How many of you have gotten a closer relationship to the Most High based on what's come out of that man's mouth? I want each one of these individuals, because we are kind of second in command here, helping him. Like Aharon helped Moshe. Like Yahshua helped Moshe. Teach. I want each one of these individuals, if you can, I know you got a word to say, Moray. Say something. I want to start with leadership first, and then I want to open up the floor to anybody else that wants to direct any comment towards your Moray, Robert B. Holman Jr., the Honorable Robert B. Holman Jr., to let him know how much you appreciate the things that, and what you should appreciate is his relationship to the Most High. Moray.
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you, Moray, for everything that you have done. I just thank Moray for multiple reasons. As like he said, he has helped many of us come to a clear understanding of the Most High, of his word and his ways. And when I came in here, my spirit was seeking the truth. And the Most High, like he said, he uses us men to help speak for the Most High. And if it was not for Moray, I honestly don't know where I would have been right now in life. I was going through a loss, hard time, and for Moray to put in the work, for the Most High to bless him to share and trust him to reveal the truth of his word to Moray to share with us. I don't know how other way to put it, but I feel like, I'm forever in your debt. You are like a father to me. I respect you. I love you with all my heart. I mean, even if you embarrass me in front of a crowd of people, I would never attack you. You know what I mean? Like I have that much love and respect for you, Moray. For me, you are like one of the prophets in my life. I see you as an angel of Yah, and I want to make you proud and continue to let our people know the truth. And everything in me loves and appreciates you, Moray. And I thank you, and I see even with the things that you go through and the things that hit you in life, you stay a strong man. You stay righteous as best as we can, and I see that, I honor that, I love that, and I respect it. So thank you so much, Moray.
Y'all got to move over a little bit. We got to get you in frame over here. There ain't nobody behind that camera. There you go. Slide down.
Ditto. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Actually, I hear Moray say all the time, when with all you're getting, get understanding. And, only the Most High can open up your understanding. And I don't trust in my wisdom at all, but I trust in the Most High's wisdom. I couldn't tell you the square root of pi times pi. I ain't that smart. So I try to follow thus saith Yah. Mm-hmm. And if the Most High didn't speak it, I'm not listening to it. And some of you guys already know this story, but when I first came here, I had seen Moray on TV, and I did not know he was in Sacramento, and I saw him a couple times. It just so happened, as the story goes on, the lady told me about it, and I came, and the first day I was here, we sat right here, and I already knew that the truth registered with me, because the Most High had already showed me a little bit, but Moray opened up my understanding even more. The thing that I have to say I appreciate about Brother Homer more than anything is his humbleness. Mm-hmm. He does not mind anybody coming up and superseding him in knowledge, in wisdom, in teaching. And the one thing that he reminds me of is when the Most High said that Moshe was the most humblest man in his house. And Moray reminds me of that. He wants you to go further. He wants to impart into you everything that he has and let you take it the rest of the way. When a lot of people who hold on to knowledge want to hold on to knowledge. Mm-hmm. They do not want to share it because they don't want others to advance. And my wife says that all the time. So the thing I appreciate about you mostly, sir, is your humbleness.
I mean,
man, it's all been said. Ditto, right? Ditto. First and foremost, thank you for being an example. To me, especially, if anybody who knows me when I first got here, I was a 215-pound little guy who really didn't have much understanding of Torah at all. And with the help of everyone here, man, especially you being a leader, you guys showed me how to just transform my life and transform my mind and get us back on track with the ways that the Most High has given us. Just like they said, the ability to come and talk to leaders with humbleness, with a soft spirit, with a kind heart to show us the way that we need to go is absolutely amazing. And to be honest, is lost in the city of Sacramento. You're one of the people I see. We have all these celebrities on TV and stuff, right, who think, they know everything. But you're one of the people that remind me that, I don't care if you have 100 million followers. I don't care if you have one follower. Truth is truth. and you're able to build us up and remind us what we need to do when we go out here in this world, and to be strict with the Most High and his laws and his teachings. So I appreciate you for not just being a teacher, but also being a genuine friend. The things you've done in my life go unaccounted for, and just like he said, I feel like I owe you so much, which is why I love being here, not only to praise the Most High, but to help you advance with this ministry and advance with Israel as we're supposed to. So just want to say thank you for everything that you do, your wisdom, your humbleness, and I'm excited to be here. Like I said, I haven't found anything like this in Sacramento, and even when I go to other states, I'm still looking around like, where is somewhere like FTF? So you are a special person. What you're building here is special, and I'm glad to just be a part riding the wave. So thank you.
All right. I mean, no, we gonna, okay. Now, we gonna open up the floor. If you're gonna testify, don't sing. If you're gonna sing, don't testify. One of the two. Come on. Now you're gonna make me walk back here. Come on. Somebody got to pass that mic around. If you want to, you can come on stage so people can see you. If not, then go ahead, stay where you are. You don't have to come up here.
Oh, well, he already got me. Moray, I just want to thank you. My husband kind of took the words out of my mouth. He was actually the catalyst that was seeking the truth, saw you on TV, and I just want to thank you for being here in Sacramento for us to have a place to seek the truth. And it's been some years. I've become to love you so, which is hard for me to do. And I want you to know that when your wife was here, the example that you showed in her last days can never be forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
You showed up and showed out. And for a man to do that, and how, in the capacity that you did it in the time that I was here, oh my. I just thank him. And I thank him for you. Love you.
I mean, anybody, just come on, bring this microphone up here. She ain't getting out of this today. Come on.
I can't do that. Oh, yeah, everyone definitely said everything. I always say people don't really understand, and the young people, I'm young too, I guess, but at 23, 24 years old, when we met, what people don't understand is now, at the age I am now, it means that you and Sister Mary have been a part of my life more years than, now than I've been here. So it's shaped me who I am. It shaped me as a wife when Sister Mary was here. And I mean, I just can't appreciate you more. You called me your daughter for a long time. And being a part of FTF, not just being a part of FTF, but being a part of the family, being a part of Israel, and everything that we've learned. My sons joke about across the street. They don't know. They don't even understand why those across the street believe what they don't even understand that, because they have come up as Hebrew boys. They have come up never having eaten bottom feeders. They know exactly what it is. They can tell you exactly why they don't eat it. And experiencing their father, because us being together 25, 26 years, this was not him 25 years ago. he would not get up and teach. I remember him being told, you're going to teach. You're not just going to play the drums. And he didn't believe you guys. He didn't believe it. But now he's like, he enjoys the word. I don't know when he finds the time, but because of the position that you have put him in and the Most High has put him in, and he has accepted it, and he knows the responsibility that it is, that's where he stands. And Sister Mary and you would say, did we do that? Did I do that? Yeah, y'all. Yes, you did it. Yes. Yes, you did. But the things that you, as he mentioned, share in common is that you don't like recognition. But we have to give you that recognition because we love you anyway. We love you, and I appreciate you. I don't know another 80-something, year old that still has the passion that you have to. You don't have to do this. You do not have to teach. You could have said, y'all figure it out long time ago. You don't have to, but you choose to continue to pour into the young people that come in, and they excite you. They give you more energy, and you push on even when you're in pain. And we cannot appreciate you anymore.
I mean, is there another? Is there one?
I kind of got forced to talk, so hi, Rabbi. I know you go by Moray now, but when I met you, you Rabbi, so you're going to always be Rabbi, so But I appreciate you a lot in my life, Rabbi, because when I first came here, as everyone else, I was very lost. And I didn't know what to trust or who to trust, what religion, what culture. I didn't trust nothing. For a long time, my mom was trying to push it on me, but I was in such I didn't care phase. I brushed it off every time. And then I started questioning life. Like, it got to a point where I was just like, okay, it's me, God, and the universe. And then that's when I just felt like a soft push me here. And one day, Yahan actually was like, oh, I'm finna go work up here. Do you want to join me? And I came. That's when you guys first met me. And that's when I came to my first Shabbat. And when I first got here, it's like you answered every question I had in my mind that I never even told you about. And so I thought it was ironic, coincidence. But the more I kept coming back, the more I realized this is where the Most High wanted me to be, because you kept answering those internal thoughts I had in my head. And then you opened me up to realizing that I actually matter in this world. When you showed me who I was in Scripture, it made me realize that I mattered. And it didn't matter that other nations didn't care about me. It's the fact that I matter to the Most High, and that this world was made for me because the Most High made it for me and my peoples. And I appreciate you more than words can explain, Rabbi. Like, no matter where I'm going, I'm going to always put you as the top of my people. Like, I love you so much, Rabbi.
Amen. Oh, she's calling in.
Oh,
We calling in from it.
This is from my mom,
Okay.
Rabbi. And she said, I'm thankful that Yahweh made you cross our paths. I have learned so much from him and able to pass it on to my children, as Scripture says. He supported me in one of the most difficult times in my life, and I don't know what I would have done without him. I love you and I appreciate you more than you know, and I can't wait for you to come visit us in Georgia again, and our home is always welcome to you. Truth matters.
Truth matters. Amen. Amen. I'm going to go two more if we got two more. All right. I'm waiting to hear from you. I want you to be my last one.
I just want to say I appreciate you, Rabbi. Well, Moray. I came here in 2018. My son, Trey, brought me here, and I've been here since. Your teaching is wonderful. Every Shabbat, I'm waiting to just learn something new every day. I just want to let you know that I appreciate you helping my son to lead us here to understand the words of Yah. Happy birthday. We truly appreciate you. Thank you.
I mean, we're going to round it out here with King Charles.
King Charles.
Yes, Malik Charles.
My relationship with Morey goes all the way back when we were in high school or even in elementary school.
Mm.
His sister and I have the same birth dates. His father witnessed to me one Sunday night for about a couple of hours and asked me if I wanted to get baptized. And I told him right to his face, no. He said, well, why? I said, now you know me. If I believe it, I would do it. I don't believe that. I say that. That was on a Sunday. The Holy Spirit worked with me for 3 days. He just said, you don't know what you're doing. And I don't know what I'm doing. But you got to get baptized. And I did. And that changed my life. What I have to say, Morey Holman, you know what I almost called you. And I know you don't want to hear it, so I'm trying not to say it. But Morey, and my first pastor were good friends. What I can say, it's been a long journey, but I'm thankful. And first, the Father but is saving me. From what? He saved me from me and my ideas and my way of life. That's why I say he saved me. My thinking, all that is wrong. I had everything I did was wrong. But the Father had that love for me that he said, I can almost see, he don't know. He don't, and I didn't. But he opens up my understanding. He gives me the love. Now, when I say love, there's a lot of aspects to love. But he gave me the love and brought me into the family. And I'm forever thankful and grateful. And that's it.
That's it. I mean. What's that? Oh, we do, you know what? For those of you that have, who we got that wrote something in? Just do the 3 quick ones real quick. We'll do those 3 quick ones real quick because there are individuals that are online that are faithful and want to be able to share. Go ahead and read those real quick. Ambassador Tate.
Thank you to Hombre Dia. He commented and said, long live to Morey, Hombre Dia. We also have another comment, Lydia Robertson. Thank you, Morey Holman, for opening up your heart and mind to the Most High and being a vessel to show that truth matters in life. Your influence and years of faithfulness to this walk is much appreciated. And we also have Haley. She says, Miss Vernice made me cry. You guys are all so right. Morey Holman has been such a great influence to me. I don't know where I'd be without his teachings and his heart. I see him as my spiritual grandpa. And then the last one, Kodesh says, Morey Holman has definitely given me a better insight on the scriptures and truth about the Most High Yah.
Amen. The Most High should be very pleased with you. All these people out of the pontifications of their heart. Has said, you have awakened them to who the Most High is. You've awakened them to who they are. Hebrew Israel, that's something that's set apart and beloved by the Most High. See, you didn't have that sense of community until you got a teaching on who the Most High was. That man is influential in actually steering you that way. All the Most High wants at the end of the day is for his wife, Hebrew Israel, to know who he is, to love him, to obey his mitzvot. And that is what we are attempting to do in this house. The Most High, that spirit, that power, has allowed us to honor his Shabbat. All of you have fulfilled a mitzvah by honoring your leader in this house. That's heavy. I want you to think about that. That's heavy. You would not be able to be set apart had it not been for that man listening to what the Most High had put inside his spirit. I know I wouldn't be here. We would still be lost. So, before all of you leave today, make sure you go up and get that man a hug. Look him in his eye and tell him that you love him. Don't do it if you don't. But if you do, look him in his eye and tell him that you love him. To the Honorable Robert B. Holman Jr., everybody, standing ovation. And y'all ain't stopped. Shabbat shalom. Amen, amen, amen. Now, you want to say something, sir? Where's the microphone? Come on. Pass the mic. Come on. Much time as you need. This is a Shabbat. We ain't going nowhere.
I hope I can get through this. I am deeply humbled by your words. This has been last year was a very difficult year for me. I have lost family who have departed from me. Don't speak to me. But I wasn't shaken by that. We have seen First Tabernacle Fellowship at its height, seats filled, building, clamoring with people and young people and children. Many of those folks have gone that did not shake me. I'm 5 years removed from my wife. Who was my anchor. I look at each one of you and I say in my spirit, I says, but I have daughters, I have sons, I have young people Got Isaiah over there. Johan, Trey. That's you young people. Sean, Keisha, all of you. And I'm T. Love you with all my heart. You and your family. I've seen First Tabernacle Fellowship at its height, and we're not at a low. We're just the remnant of that which remains. You are an example of what the Most High is going to redeem in the last days, a remnant. I'm very thankful for each and every one of you that stayed. Gail, I know that you're there watching, and Cheryl. I'm very appreciative for all of you that come each Shabbat to support the ministry, that we can get out and share this word and this information with the other nations of people. I talked to the Moray of Atlanta yesterday. Atlanta sends his love to all of us also. Thank you very much for your kind words. Continue to pray for me that I'll be able to continue to do what I do. Thank you, Trey, for asking me every time you see me, Moray, did you stretch? And those of you that keep asking me, Moray, are you eating right? Thank you. You've allowed me to arrive at this humble age of 83, still feeling young and vibrant. And on Sunday, when I go to the church of the first tee, I'm able to drive the ball still 200 yards and keep up with the young people. It's all because of the Most High Yah and those of you around me that keep me feeling like I feel. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
All right. It's always good. It's always good to be in the amongst of the Most High's people and be able to testify about the things that we experience from person to person, showing our affection and love for those that are near and dear to us. I am going to change gears for a couple of ticks. And I need to address something before I get into our continued teaching in Vayikra chapter 13 or Leviticus chapter 13 and 14. And it's going to read very, I don't want to say easy, but we're going to read it straight through. It is a mitzvot that deals with really one particular issue, which is going to be more of a technical thing today. But before I do that, I opened last week, if you weren't sleeping, and I said something about truth. I said, what? Matters. Okay. Truth does matter. Everybody doesn't want to be lied to. And we also talked about the issue of what? That truth should be tantamount, right? Truth should not be third or fourth in line. Truth should not become behind your emotions. Truth shouldn't come behind your situationship. What is the truth of the matter? Let's deal with the truth of the matter. And if I have to adjust my emotions and I have to adjust my situationship, I'll do that. But I have to observe truth first. It's funny that I had said that. I'm going to say something that happened last week that you guys didn't know about. And it's funny how the Most High actually works, because he warned me about this before I left my house and taught last week. I need to make a correction. Now, I will never profess to knowing it all, and I don't. But I appreciate FTF because all of you are checking your leaders. Just because I said it doesn't mean it's necessarily so. Ambassador Tate brought me something last week. He said, hey, you said something on stage last week that I went back and did some research on, and that's not necessarily correct. Can you help me with that? And again, I want to make it abundantly clear, okay? You should be able to challenge your leaders on issues. If things that you don't disagree with, or you have some issues that say, hey, I'm not seeing it that way. You should have the latitude to do that. So I'm going to make a correction. Last week I said something about having animals that we can eat that actually are what? They're from the herd that have what? What is the criteria in the mitzvot? Split hoof and it what? Chews its cud. All right. Now, I had made mention last week that chewing the cud was what? Chewing some fat in the jaw. Now, this is funny. You're going to get tickled with this. What did you ask me before I left the house? Before I taught? You said, maybe you need to explain what cud is. And I really wasn't listening to what the Most High was saying through you to do, which is you need to go do some research on what cud is, because you got on stage with your own understanding and botched it up. So I'm here to make a correction on what cud is. Cud is actually when the animal is chewing something and grinding it up, it swallows it. It goes, I believe these animals have two stomachs. It goes into the stomach, this pouch, and what happens is it mixes with some type of bile or fluid, and it kicks it back up into the animal's mouth. He almost regurgitates the food, and what you see them doing is grinding it up even more. Once it gets to that pace, then they go ahead and swallow it. So it's not fat in the jaw. It's a regurgitation of food from the stomach back into the mouth where it continues to keep grinding it up and chewing it. That's what you call cud. Okay? But two things I enjoy. I enjoy when you guys bring me something like that. You were wrong. I'm never going to profess being right all the time. Check me, please. Because that's the only way that we're going to get to truth. Because what? Truth matters. All right. Okay? We got it? Amen. Amen. Let us be right in our understanding all thy ways. My mother would tell me all the time, son, in all thy ways, get an understanding. If not anything else, we need to get an understanding. Okay, let's jump right into this. We're going to jump into Vayikra chapter number 13 and 14. How many of you can remember what kind of mitzvot we've gone over thus far, starting at Vayikra chapter number 1, which is Leviticus, all the way up into Vayikra chapter number 12. Now, matter of fact, let's go over this I want to continue to keep doing this so we keep beating this into people's heads. Bereshit in Hebrew means what? In the beginning. Genesis means the beginning. Shemot in Hebrew means what? The names. The names. Okay? Exodus, which is its equivalent in Greek, is what? An exodus, the leaving. So we're talking about the names of the people that went down into Mizraim. Exodus is talking about, if you're doing the Greek style, it's talking about when they came out. Okay? What's the next book? Vayikra. What's Vayikra stand for? And he called. Who'd he call? Who called whom? The Most High called Moshe. Okay? And he called. Leviticus means what? Belonging to Levi. That's what Leviticus means. What's after that? Bamidbar. Bamidbar is the book of Numbers. So what does Bamidbar mean in Hebrew? In the wilderness. Okay? Numbers just means what? The numbers. They had a census at the beginning of that book. Deuteronomy is what? The words that were spoken to Hebrew Israel from Moshe to Hebrew Israel. And Deuteronomy means what? The second law. Yeah. So, that's how that all breaks out, okay? We're going to jump back into Vayikra chapter number 13, but I asked you a question before that. What mitzvot can you remember? From chapter 1 all the way up to where we're at right now. Okay, what'd you say? Mitzvot on sacrificing, yes. What'd you say? No blood, no fat. What else? What other mitzvot you can remember? All the dietary laws. Y'all familiar with the dietary laws? Yeah, okay, y'all Hebrews, what are your dietary laws? One starts all the way back in Bereshit, chapter number 1, verse 29. It says what? Every seed-bearing plant and every fruit-bearing tree that bears seeds shall be food for you. Then we jump into Vayikra, chapter number 3, or Leviticus, chapter number 3, that talks about not eating any blood or any fat. And then we finish up with what? Vayikra, chapter number what? 11, that talks about when I want to eat an animal from, I need to examine my food. So when you sit there and you praying over your food, you need to pray like a Hebrew. You need to pray like Most High, not, rub-a-dub-dub, thank you for the grub. None of that. Okay, like we used to do back across the street. Most High, you commanded us. This is how I pray. When people say they don't want me to pray, actually, when it's time to eat, I'm like, oh, this brother going to be up here for a while. But every time that I pray over food, I bring acknowledgement to the Most High by saying such. You have commanded us to examine our food, to make sure that it falls in line with the dietary laws that you have set up for your set-apart people, Hebrew Israel. All the Christians start turning and they seek when they start hearing me say that. What does that mean? So pray, when you're praying over your food, Hebraically. What are your dietary laws? Split hoof, chooses cud. What else? If you eat fish, what's the laws on the fish? Fins and scales. No bottom feeders, no lobster, no crab, no squid. Yes, sir. Right. Right. That's a good point. If it is on the bottom, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's unclean. Okay, we just designate, we're putting it categorically and pejoratively this group of things that we're familiar with. Scallops, shrimp, lobster, what else? Crabs, oysters, catfish is another one. Catfish, why are we saying catfish? Because it doesn't have what? Scales. Okay, you can't have shark fin soup. Even though it has fins, it doesn't have any scales, okay? And those are predatory animals anyway. Notice how the Most High doesn't want you eating predatory animals, okay? All right, what other one? Birds. Gives you a whole list of birds that you can't eat, which you observe that anyway, because you don't eat owls, you don't eat vultures, you don't eat raptors or birds of prey. Those are all out. What are the dietary laws you remember? Yeah, they have jointed legs and they jump off the ground. You guys observe that anyway because none of you eat insects. But there are some insects that you can eat. So you observe those no matter what. I don't know the last time y'all had crickets, chocolate-covered grasshoppers, locusts, any of those. No web feet, okay? Okay? So we have some of our dietary laws taken care of. Any other mitzvot? When I touch something that's come on, ladies. These are mitzvot directed towards you. Pop quiz. I can't say that I'm pregnant because I'm not. I will never be pregnant, okay? But let's take a woman, Mary. She's pregnant with Jesus. And by the mitzvot, what laws apply to a pregnant woman? Okay, so she gives birth. There's two mitzvahs, two categories. There's one for a boy, and one if she has a girl, right? In the first instance, if she has a boy, on the 8th day, he has to be circumcised. His Brit Milah has to happen on the 8th day, okay? What else? She's going to be unclean for how many days? 33 days. You're saying the 7 plus the 30 plus the 33? 33 days. And then for a girl, how many? 66. It's double. Okay? What does that mean? What can't she do? She can't go into the sanctuary. Okay, you guys have read these mitzvot before. Awesome sauce. Okay? Some other ones, ancillary. Yes, ma'am. I don't know. That I wish we had some information on that. I have no idea why it's double for a girl than it is for a boy. No idea. And I have no idea why 33 is the number. I don't know what that relates to. So that would be education. Hopefully our descendants will get something down the road where they can figure that one out. But as of right now, and you know what? I have not a clue why that is. But it is what it is. What else? I'm trying to remember. Any other mitzvot? So we're good to go. We're moving into the mitzvot now that are dealing with the body. We started last week. We talked about what? In chapter what? Number 11. We talked about our food. And then we talked about mitzvot specifically toward the body for a woman, which dealt with childbirth. Now we're going to deal with another issue today, which is the issue of sara'at. It's over the next 2 chapters. Sara'at. Does anybody know what sara'at is? What is sara'at? Yes. Question. Oh man, this is going to be interesting. Leprosy. Okay, stop taking my thunder. He took my thunder with that. Is Hebraic leprosy the same as 2025 leprosy? No, they are not. They are 2 different things. Think of leprosy Hebraically as a category that encompasses sores and scabs, swelling, things that happen, deformities that happen on the body, lightening of the skin is in there. It's classified as, when you get down there and talks about splotches. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But it also has to deal with the fact of it being examined to see how deep that goes into the skin. It's like I said, it's scabs or swelling or bright spots that's listed there, okay? That's what leprosy, it's kind of a categorical thing. Today's leprosy is called Hansen's disease. It's different because Hebraic leprosy can get into the building. It can get into the walls, okay? You're going to go over those mitzvot today, right? This is one of the things that the Kohanim have to examine. So not only are they cutting up animals all day long, they have to come out and somehow do examinations of people on whether or not this particular lesion or swelling will turn into sara'at. Okay? They have to do that examination, and there's a bunch of rules and mitzvot that are on that. Okay, now let me set that up for you today. One of the things we try to do, or trying to do moving forward, is to try to make scripture or text relatable. I am finding a difficult time trying to make sara'at relatable for today while we're in exile. So I'm going to preface what I'm saying today, because we're going to read it right through, that this is more informational than anything. I don't see, again, when you talk about the cleansing of it, you can't even cleanse yourself from it if you get this type of stuff. And I don't think this stuff actually even exists in exile right now, okay? So this is informational today, okay? Now, let's jump right into this, because we are going to be talking about sores, scabs, swelling, lesions, baldness, and that's not just to men. Unless, ladies, you can tell me y'all don't go bald. He said, I've seen it. Discolored pigmentations in the skin. I am not a doctor. I'm just going to read the mitzvot to you. So I can't get too deep into things, but I'll let you know where there is. Specific pathogens that cause infections. And the cleansing from zara'at. What are the mitzvot on if you do contract it? What is the protocol upon which that you're supposed to alleviate it from the body? We're going to do all this, and then we're going to go into wind up in the New Testament later on as we close with this, okay? All right. Let me ask you a question before we get into this. I want to answer from you guys. The Most High, can the Most High be unclean? You sure? You're 100% sure that the Most High, who is set apart, can be unclean? Ever? He can't even look at evil. So if there's something that makes anything unclean, you got it. I just told you where I was going to wind up when I left. Okay? Let's read. Listen to what Vayikra, or Leviticus chapter number 13 says. We are going to read this all the way through, hopefully without stopping along the way. But before we do that, just kick back, listen. I want to read to you what Hansen disease actually is. 2025, today, leprosy. Let me read to you what it is. Leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease, is a chronic infection disease caused by Microbacterium leprae. The disease affects the skin, the peripheral nerves, muscle surfaces of the upper respiratory tract, and the eyes. Leprosy is known, that's today's leprosy, Hansen. Leprosy is known to occur at all ages, ranging from early childhood to old age. Leprosy is curable and treatable during the early stages to prevent disability. Leprosy, now this is the part I want to read to you. Leprosy is transmitted via droplets from the nose and mouth during close and frequent contact with untreated cases. Hansen's disease likely spreads when a person sick with the disease coughs or sneezes, and a healthy person breathes in the droplets containing the bacteria. Hansen's disease does not spread easily between people. Most people cannot get Hansen's disease. Around 95% of people cannot be infected because their immune system can fight off bacteria that causes Hansen's disease. Disease over many months to catch, actually it takes over many months to catch the disease. Hansen's disease is not spread through sex, and it is not passed on to the fetus during pregnancy. Okay? So, it's transmitted through coughing, sneezing, droplets through the air, and you have to be exposed to it for a while. That's today's Hansen's disease. You're going to see the disparity or the diametrically opposed situation here when we talk about what leprosy is. People call this leprosy, what I just read. But Hebraic leprosy is something different. Chapter number 13, at the beginning, let's rock and roll. It says, Eye said to Moshe and Aharon, if someone develops on his skin a swelling, scab, or bright spot which could develop into the disease sara'at, he is to be brought to Aharon, the Cohen, or to one of his sons who are Kohanim. The Cohen is to examine the sore on the skin. If the hair in the sore has turned white and the sore appears to go deep into the skin, it is sara'at. And after examining him, the Cohen is to declare him what? Unclean. So we have the examination of the spot, examination of the hair that's turned white. And it says what? Here's the other criteria. And the sore appears to go deep into the skin. Verse 4 says, if the bright spot on the skin is white, but it does not appear to go deep into the skin, and hair has not turned white, then the Cohen is to isolate him for 7 days. On the seventh day, the Cohen is to examine him, and if the sore appears the same as before and has not spread on the skin, then the Cohen is to isolate him for 7 more days. On the 7th day, the Cohen is to examine him again. And if the sore has faded and hasn't spread onto the skin, then the Cohen is to declare him what? Clean. It is only a scab. So he's to wash his clothes and to be clean. Everybody clear on what that is? Examining a scab. Okay? There's an incubation period. There's an initial examination for 7. Then he sequesters him for 7 days. If he comes back and it hasn't spread for another 7 days, then he'll be declared clean afterwards. Okay? For sore. But if the scab spreads further, this is in verse 7, if the scab spreads further on the skin after it has been examined by the Cohen and declared clean, he is to let himself be examined yet again by the Cohen. The Cohen will examine him, and if he sees the scab has spread on his skin, then the Cohen will declare him unclean. It is sara'at. So that scab spread. He goes back and gets examined again. He's declared to have sara'at. This next piece will be the examination of what chronic sara'at is. You're continuing to keep getting this. If a person has sara'at, he is to be brought to the Kohen. The Kohen is to examine him. If he sees that there is a white swelling in the skin which has turned the hair white and inflamed flesh in the swelling, then it is chronic sara'at on his skin. The Kohen is to declare him what? Unclean. He is not to isolate himself because it is already clear that he is unclean. 12, if sara'at breaks out all over the skin, so that as far as the Kohen can see, the person with sara'at sores everywhere on his body from his head to his feet, then the Kohen is to examine him. And if he sees that the sara'at has covered his entire body, he is to pronounce the person with the sores clean. It is all turned white, and he is clean. Okay, y'all didn't, doesn't that seem a little, okay. Y'all, it must be clear. In 12, if a sara'at breaks out all over the skin, so that as far as the Kohen can see, the person with the sara'at from sores everywhere on his body from head to his feet, and then the Kohen will examine him. He sees that the sara'at has covered his entire body. He is to pronounce the person with sores clean. It is all turned white. He is clean. You know what I think about when I think of something like this? And I'm not saying that this is, but have you seen people that have, I think it's vitiligo, where their skin turns white? Okay? I think this is maybe speaking to a situation like that, where the skin turns white because of some type of discoloration. And that's for any melanated or non-melanated person. You can get vitiligo. It's just tougher to see on lighter complected individuals. But it's where the skin turns white. And in this particular instance, if that is what this is talking about, which I'm not saying that it is, I'm saying that this is something where the person is declared clean. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that you just have a pigmentation discoloration. That's all. Okay? I love it. I got my ambassadors looking back there. They double check and they read me. They following behind me. I love it. All right. 14. But if one day inflamed flesh appears on him, he will be unclean. The Kohen will examine the inflamed flesh and declare him unclean. The inflamed flesh is unclean. It is sara'at. However, if the inflamed flesh again turns white, he is to come to the Kohen. The Kohen will examine him, and if he sees that the sores have turned white, then the Kohen is to declare clean the person with the sores. He is clean. If a person has on his skin a boil that heals in such a way that in place of the boil there is a white swelling or reddish white bright spot, it is to be shown to the Kohen. The Kohen is to examine it. He is to see, if he sees it appears to be more than skin deep and the hair has turned white, then the Kohen is to pronounce him unclean. The disease of sara'at has broken out in the boil. 21. But if the Kohen looks at it and doesn't see any white hairs in it, and it isn't more than skin deep, but appears faded, the Kohen is to isolate him for 7 days. If he spreads on its skin, the Kohen is to declare him unclean. It is the disease. But if the bright spot stays where it was and has not spread, it is the scar of the boil. And the Kohen is to declare him clean. So if we have a boil, it's healing up. Or it sounds like in this particular situation, we have a boil, and that boil breaks out into some reddish rash somewhere around it, okay? Then they're going to be declared unclean, but we have to examine the white hair that's in it as well. And it has to go deeper than the skin. It's kind of like a theme that's going to keep continuing to coming up on these ones, where it is some type of skin discoloration or something's happening on the epidermis of the skin. It can either be a boil or a sore, and we're examining the inflammation around it and if any white hairs show up in it, if it's deep. Then we classify that as sada'at, not the actual boil or whatever is happening on the skin. See what I'm trying to say? It's not, you're thinking, some may think of sada'at as actually a particular skin disease that's happening to you. Sada'at could break out in a boil that you might have or a sore you might have, okay? Might be a little confusing there. But just think of sada'at as something that is an inflammation. Think of it that way. On the skin, an inflammation. That's sada'at. That could affect and worsen something else that's on and around. Okay? Hopefully I explained that okay. And if I didn't, we can talk about it. Okay. Where did I leave off? 24? Okay, good. In 24. 24. Or if someone has, now this is a skin burn. So we've seen it in a scab. We've seen it, now we're going to see it in a skin burn. And then we've also seen it in a boil. It says, or if someone has on his skin a burn caused by fire, and the inflamed flesh where it was burned has become a bright spot, reddish or white, then the Kohen is to examine it. And if he sees that the hair in the bright spot has turned white and that it appears to be deeper than the skin around it, it is what? Sada'at. It has broken out in the burn, and the Kohen is to declare him unclean. It is a sore from Sada'at. But if the Kohen examines it and he sees that no white hair in the bright spot, and there's no lower than the skin around it, but it looks faded, he's probably going to say this is just going to be sequester yourself for 7 days. It's just a burn. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up saying that. When the Kohen is to isolate him for 7 days, on the 7th day, the Kohen is to examine him. If it is spread on the skin, then the Kohen is to declare him unclean. It is the sore from Sada'at. So if it is spreading, it's Sada'at. But if the bright spot stays where it was and has not spread on the skin, but appears faded, it is a swelling due to the burn. And the Kohen is to declare him clean because it is only a scar from the burn. That's that part I was talking about a second ago. This next piece in 29 is the examination of a skin sore. If a man or a woman has a sore on the head or a man in his beard, then the Kohen is to examine the sore. If he sees it has appeared deeper than the skin around it with yellow, thin hair in it, then the Kohen is to declare him unclean. It is a crusted area, a sada'at of the head and beard. 31, if the Kohen examines the diseased crusted area and sees it appears not to be deeper than the skin around it and with any black hair in it, the Kohen is to isolate for 7 days the person with the diseased crusted area. On the 7th day, the Kohen is to examine the sore, and he sees the crusted area hasn't spread, that has no yellow hair in it, and the crusted area is not deeper than the skin around it. Then the person is to be shaved except for the crusted area, and the Kohen is to isolate him for 7 more days. On the 7th day, the Kohen is to examine the crusted area, and if he sees the crusted area has not spread on the skin and does not appear to be deeper than the skin around it, then the Kohen is to declare him unclean. He is to wash his clothes and be clean. But if the crusted area spreads after his purification, then the Kohen is to examine him, and he sees the crusted area has spread on the skin. The Kohen is not to look for yellow hair. He is unclean. But if the crusted area's appearance doesn't change, the black hair grows up in it, and the crusted area is healed, he is clean. And the Kohanim is to declare him clean. More than you wanted to know about clean and unclean, Sadat. Like I said, these things are not happening to us in exile. So again, this is backstory and information. So when you go ahead and you read certain other things that, hey, when they were traveling somewhere and they got Sadat, you know where it is, okay? And this next particular chapter is going to go, when we get into it, and chapter number, 14, we'll talk about how to be cleaned from it. There's a protocol for that. This next piece, 38, or next section, is in verse 38 in Vayikra, chapter number 13. It says, examination of a skin rash. It says, if a man or woman has bright spots on the skin, bright white spots, then the Kohen is to examine him. If he sees the bright spots are on the skin are dull white, it is only a rash and has broken out on the skin. He is clean. Male baldness. This next piece is male baldness, but I don't think this applies to just males. I think no. It says man right up at the front. What am I talking about? It says, if a man's hair has fallen out, that's me. I do a good job shaving it, but that's me. So this is going to be applicable to me. Let's see what it says. It says, if a man's hair has fallen from his scalp, he is bald. But he is what? He's clean. If the hair has fallen off the front part of his head, he is forehead bald. But he is clean. But if the bald scalp or forehead there is a reddish white sore, it is Sadat, breaking out on the bald scalp or forehead. Then the Kohen is to examine him. If he sees there is a reddish white swelling on the bald scalp, come on, you can pretty much finish it. Examine it. White hair or yellow hair somewhere in there, maybe in this one. I don't know. Let's read on. And if it goes deeper than the skin, then what's probably going to be declared Sadat. Let's read what it says. It says 43, it says, then the Kohen is to examine him. If he sees that there is a reddish white swelling on his bald scalp or forehead appearing like Sadat on the rest of the body, he is a person with Sadat. He is unclean. The Kohen must declare him unclean. The sore is on his head. The identification and sequestering of those with Sadat. So if you have Sadat, you need to be sequestered. Okay? Let's read what it says. Everyone who has Sadat, sores, is to wear torn clothes and unbound hair, cover his upper lip and cry. What does that mean? Cover his upper lip and cry. No. Project your voice. Cover your upper lip. Cover your upper lip and cry. What? Unclean. Unclean. As long as he has sores, he will be unclean. Since he is unclean, he must live in isolation. He must live outside the camp. When Sadat, now, this is this part. Why are you laughing back there? Come on, let's just take the side quest now. The mic is right there by your right hand. You gonna wait till I get there? Okay. Okay. You are supposed to tell people that you're unclean by covering your upper lip and projecting your voice and telling people that you are unclean. You are supposed to live outside the camp. You can't be inside the camp. That's what the mitzvah says? Okay, that's what it says. Okay. 47, when Sadat affects an article of clothing. So not only can it, we're examining an inflammation. We're examining something that's inflaming something, or something that's, this is going to sound like, before I thought this was mold, but this is something different. It says, when Sadat infects an article of clothing, whether it be a woolen or linen garment on the threads or the woven in parts of either linen or wool, or a hide or item made of leather, then if the stain on the garment, hide, threads, woven in parts, or leather item is what color? Greenish, or what other color? Red. So we're looking for two colors. It is an infection of Sada'at and has to be shown to whom? The Kohen. The Kohen is to examine the stain and isolate the article that has the infection for 7 days. On the seventh day, he is to examine the stain. If the stain has spread on the garment, threads, woven in parts, leather, whatever its use, the infection is a contagious Sada'at. The garment is unclean. He is to what with that garment? Take your Jordans and burn them, okay? He is to burn the garment, threads, woven parts. Yeah, your Balenciaga is going in the trash. Your Chanel is going into the trash too. What other one is out there? Y'all Gucci, what are y'all? Y'all Hebrews wear a whole bunch of designer stuff. What is y'all wearing? Louis Vuitton? Oh, he said Old Navy. How in the world is you going to say, I'm naming Balenciaga, Prada, what are these other ones I said? What? He said, he came back behind that and said Old Navy. Them don't even match in the same sentence. All going in the trash. Wherever you get your clothes from, they going in the trash. Livy, you got some work to do back there. You got to work on that one. I got you this. All right. What are we at? Oh, my goodness. I took a sidebar. Am I 52? 52. He is to burn the garment thread woven in parts of either wool or linen or item of leather having the infection, for it is a contagious sada'at. It must be burned up completely. But if, when the Kohen examines it, he sees that the infection has not spread on the garment or the threads woven in parts or leather item, then the Kohen is to order that the article having the infection be washed and isolated for 7 more days. The Kohen is to examine it after the stain has been washed, and if he sees that the stain has not changed color, then even though the stain has not spread, it is unclean. You are to burn it up completely. It is rotten, no matter whether a spot on the outside or on the inside. The Kohen is to examine it and sees that the stain has faded after being washed. Then he is to tear the stain out of the garment, threads, leather. You can just pretty much throw it in the trash for me at that particular point. You're going to put a hole in the thing. You just might as well just get rid of it anyway. That's just me. But then he is to tear the stain out of the garment, leather, threads, or woven in parts. If it appears again in the garment's threads, woven in parts, or leather item, it is contagious. You are to burn up completely the article that had the stain. But if the infection has gone from the garment's threads, woven in parts, or leather item that you have washed, then it is to be washed a second time, and it will be clean. Finishing out this chapter, 59, it says, this is the law, or the mitzvot, concerning infections of sada'at in a garment of wool or linen, or in threads or woven in parts, or in any leather item, when to declare it clean and when to declare it unclean. That's chapter number 13. Can we do those mitzvot? Why? You don't have the priest. There you go. You couldn't carry this out if you wanted to. Okay? Can't do it in exile. And for the most part, I don't know anybody that kind of falls under these categories. When's the last time you looked in something in your in clothing and it started looking like, what is this talking about? We usually don't have nothing like that in exile. So, moving on. 14. This is how to be cleansed from Sada'at, okay? You're going to hear a lot of things that we talked about in the first 4 chapters of Vayikra or Leviticus, which deals with offerings, burnt offerings, sin offerings, okay? Guilt offerings, okay? Those guilt offerings fall under, I believe, peace offerings. 14, Eya Asher Eya said to Moshe, this is to be the law concerning a person afflicted with Sara'at on the day of his purification. This is the liturgy that if you go and get Sara'at, this is what's supposed to happen on the day you become purified from it. Okay, you want me to say that again? I'm going to say that real slow for y'all who was back across the street. On the day that you become purified, or you're going to be purified from Sara'at, this is what's supposed to happen. Okay? I can't. I got to go get him. I got to go get him. It says, Eya Asher Eya said to Moshe, this is to be the law concerning the person afflicted with Sara'at on the day of his purification. He is to be brought to the Kohen. And the Kohen is to go outside the camp and examine him there. If he sees that the Sara'at sores have been healed in the afflicted person, who has to see this and witness it? The Kohanim. Okay. If he sees that the Sara'at sores have been healed in the afflicted person, then the Kohen will order that 2 living clean birds be taken for one to be purified, along with cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop leaves. The Kohen is to order. Look at the specificity here. This is what we're going to get into. This is detailed. The Kohen is to order one of the birds slaughtered in a clay pot running over running water. As for the live bird, he is to take it with cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop, and dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird slaughtered over running water, and sprinkle the person to be purified from Sara'at 7 times. Then, or say next, he is to set the live bird free in an open field. He who is to be purified must wash his clothes, shave off all his hair, and bathe himself in water. Then he will be clean. And after that, he may enter the camp. But he must live outside his tent for 7 days. On the 7th day, he's to shave off shave all the hair off his head, also his beard and eyebrows. Wow. He must shave off all his hair, and he is to wash his clothes and bathe his body in water. He will be clean. We're going to come back to this. This is a protocol for purification of Sara'at, okay? Which it requires the Kohanim to do some examination, correct? Because we just read it here. 10, it says, on the 8th day, he's to take 2 male lambs without defect, 1 female lamb in its first year without defect, and 6.5 quarts of fine flour for a grain offering mixed with olive oil, and 2/3 of a pint of olive oil. The Kohen purifying is to place the person being purified with these items before Eya Asher Eya at the entrance of the tent of meeting. The Kohen is to take one of the male lambs and offer it as a guilt offering. You can go back and refer to Vayikra or Leviticus chapter number 7, verses 1 through 6, that talks about guilt offerings. It says the 2/3 pint of olive oil and wave them as a wave offering before Eya Asher Eya. 13, then he is to slaughter the male lamb in the place in the sanctuary for slaughtering sin offerings and burnt offerings. There's a specific place in the tent of meeting for that. We showed that many times on our plan view. It says, because the guilt offering belongs to the Kohanim, just like the sin offering, it is especially set apart. The Kohen is to take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it on the tip of the right ear of the person being purified, on the thumb of the right hand, on the other big toe of his right foot. Next, the Kohen is to take some of the 2/3 pint of olive oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. Dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand and sprinkle the oil with his finger 7 times before Eya Asher Eya. Then the Kohen is to put some of the remaining oil in his hand on the tip of the right ear. Man, this is detailed. This is a lot of steps you got to follow. Of the person being purified, on the thumb of his right hand, on the big toe of his right foot, and on the and on the blood of the guilt offering. Finally, the Kohen is to put the rest of the oil in his hand on the head of the person being purified, and the Kohen is to make an atonement for him before Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. The Kohen is to offer the sin offering and make atonement for the person being purified because of his uncleanliness. Afterwards, he is to slaughter the burnt offering. The Kohen is to offer the burnt offering and grain offering on the altar. Thus, the Kohen will make atonement for him. He will be unclean. Whew. Oh, excuse me, he will be clean. I said unclean. He will be clean. Excuse me, he will be clean. Not only does these Kohen have to do these burnt offerings for other things that are going on, for other sins, inadvertent sins, and all this other stuff. Now we got to tack on Sadat to this too, and doing possibly house calls for examinations, because these people have to be examined outside of camp on if they are. Okay? This is a lot. And I'm bringing that to light. This is a protocol for cleanliness. Verse 21. Now, those are the things that you need when it talks about the particular burnt offerings and it specifies a particular animal. Now we're going to get into the fact that if you can't afford those particular animals, then here's the alternative. Says, if he is poor, so that he can't afford to do otherwise, he is to take one male lamb as a guilt offering to be waved to make atonement for him, 2 quarts of fine flour mixed with olive oil for a grain offering, 2/3 of a pint of olive oil, and 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, such as he can afford, the one for the sin offering and the other for the burnt offering. On the 8th day, he will bring them to the Kohanim for his purification, to the entrance of the tent of meeting before Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. The Kohen is to take the lamb of the guilt offering and the 2/3 of a pint of olive oil and wave them as a wave offering before Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. 25. He is to slaughter the lamb of the guilt offering. The Kohen is to take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it on the tip of the right ear of the person being purified, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. 26. The Kohen is to take some of the olive oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand and sprinkle his right hand with some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. Sounds like the same liturgy as before, but we're just changing out the animals. 28. The Kohen is to put some of the olive oil in his hand on the tip of the right ear of the person being purified, the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, in the same place as the blood of the guilt offering. Finally, the Kohen is to put the rest of the oil in his hand on the head of the person being purified to make atonement for him before Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. He is to offer one of the doves or young pigeons, such as a person can afford, whatever his means suffice for, the one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering with the grain offering. Thus, the Kohen will make an atonement before Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh for the person being purified, such as the law for the person who has Sadat sores, if he cannot afford the usual elements used for his purification. Last page. Starting at 33. We got to go all the way to 54. This is the law for Sadat being in a home. It says, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh said to Moshe and Aharon, when you have entered the land of the Canaanite, or the land of Ham, which I am giving you as a possession, and I put an infection. Who put it in there? It says, when I put an infection of Sadat in a home, in the land that you possess, the owner of the house is to come and tell the Kohanim, it seems to me that there may be an infection in the house. The Kohen is to order that the house emptied before he goes in to inspect the infection, so that everything in the house won't be made unclean afterwards. The Kohen is to enter and inspect the house. He will examine the infection And if he sees that the infection is in the walls of the house with what colors? Greenish and reddish depressions that seem to go deeper than the surface of the wall, then he is to go out of the house to the door and seal up the house for 7 days. The Kohen is to come again on the 7th day and examine the house. If he sees that the infections are spread over the walls, he is to order them to be removed, to remove the infected stones and throw them into some unclean place outside the city. 41. He is to have the inside of the house thoroughly scraped. And the scraped off plaster is to be discarded outside the city in an unclean place. Finally, the stones must be set in place of the first stone, must be set in the place of the first stones, and other plaster used to replaster the house. If the infection returns and breaks out in the house after the stones have been removed and house scraped and plastered, then the Kohen is to enter and examine it. If he sees that the infection spreads in the house and it is a contagious sara'at in the house, it is unclean. 45, he must break down the house and take its stones, timber, and plaster out of the city to an unclean place. Your house can't even be unclean in Hebrew Israel. Moreover, whoever enters the house at the time while it is sealed up will be unclean until evening. Just entering the house while it's sealed up makes you unclean. Whoever lies down or eats in the house must wash his clothes. If the Kohen enters, examines, and sees that the infection has not spread in the house since it was plastered, then he is to declare the house clean because the infection is cured. 49 says to purify the house. So we went over the examination from 33 through 48. Now 49 on, we're going to talk about how to clean this house. Now we'll finish out this chapter. Actually, I said 54, but it's 57. To purify the house, he is to take 2 birds, cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop leaves. He is to slaughter one of the birds in a clay pot over running water. He is to take the cedar wood, the hyssop, the scarlet yarn, and the live bird and dip them in the blood and slaughter. Excuse me, I read it too fast. Ooh, that is Siri back there. I thought that was somebody trying to get my attention. My bad. Let me go back to 51. Said he is to take the cedar wood, the hyssop, the scarlet yarn, and the live bird and dip them in the blood of the slaughtered bird and in the running water and sprinkle the house 7 times. He will purify the house with the blood of the bird, the running water, the live bird, the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the scarlet yarn. But he is to set the live bird free outside the city in an open field. Thus, he will make an atonement for the house, and it will be clean. 54, such is the law, or mitzvot, for all kinds of sara'at sores, for a crusted area, for sara'at in a garment, for a house. Is this Hansen's disease? No, this is not Hansen's disease. For a swelling, for a scab, and for a bright spot, to determine when it is clean and when it is unclean. This is the law concerning sara'at. Are we clear on what sara'at is? Okay? Are we clear on what it is? Now, we're going to do something. What do you know? What is the takeaway from that? Sara'at. You can be unclean from it. Let's start there. Is that true? You can be unclean from sara'at. Okay. All right. Okay. There's a sequestering period for that too, right? Anybody comes in contact with anybody with sara'at, then they're unclean, right? Okay. So it can be in what? Clothes. It can be on your skin, right? It can happen in sores. It can happen in a myriad of places. It is not Hansen's disease. Modern day leprosy, okay? We're making the distinguishment, or at least the declaration here. Now, how many of you are familiar with the New Testament? How many of you are familiar with the New Testament? He said, unfortunately. There are the Gospels. We start out with what? Matthew. Then we go to Mark. Yeah, we're going to go to Mark. Why don't we go to Mark chapter 1, verse 40? Why don't we start there? We just have to go there. We got to go get him. Let's go get him. I just read to you your mitzvot, Hebrews, on what Sara'at is and what the protocol is for Sara'at. Okay? Okay. Chapter number 4. Matter of fact, should I read it? I'm going to read it up here. It says, chapter number 4, chapter number 1, verse 40. I said chapter number 1, verse 40. But I kept saying chapter number 4, didn't I? I'm getting anxious. Anxious. Chapter 1, Mark chapter 1, verse 40. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. We just read our mitzvot on what? What's the first 4 words in there say? Or 5? It says, a man afflicted with Sara'at. We just read what Sara'at was. Came to whom? Yeshua. JC. Jesus Krishna. Should say Jesus Gonzalez. And begged him on his knees. Says, if you are willing, can you make me clean? I'm going to stop for a second because he wasn't here when I asked the question earlier. Ambassador Stagg. The Honorable Eleka Stagg. Let me ask you a question, sir, publicly. The power that you serve is whom? The Most High Yahweh. In your reading of our Hebraic text, is there ever a time when the Most High can be unclean? Can the Most High be unclean? You've never seen anywhere in text where the Most High can be unclean. He can never be unclean. Okay. I just want to establish that. We asked that question earlier. All right? Be ye set apart as I am set apart. Okay? Let's go back. It says, a man afflicted with Sara'at came to Yeshua and begged him on his knees, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Come on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How does he know that he has Sara'at? That's your question. What do you think? The Kohen has to determine that he has Sara'at. Okay, yeah, come on. You got to start from the top. Start from the top.
This question is somewhat rhetorical, but how does he know he has leprosy, Sara'at? According to the mitzvahs that we just read, the Kohen has to determine whether he has it or not.
That's correct.
And if he has it, he's supposed to be shut up for 7 days. So and he's not supposed to be out until he's clean. So how is he out walking around amongst the people and he has Sara'at?
Okay. It said that if in fact, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt and say that the mitzvahs tells us that they're supposed to sequester themselves. They're supposed to be outside the camp. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say this is happening outside the camp, and this is where Yeshua is. Okay? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say, because I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Let's just say, because the esteemed ambassador is correct. We went through the process of what? It has to be brought to the Kohanim. He has to examine it. He has to look at what? Is it inflamed? Is there any hairs that have been discolored? Does it go underneath the depth of the skin? So you mean to tell me he knew all that just by that? He did a lot of assuming. But let's just say, okay, he does have Sada'at. Let's say he's outside and he's at this leper camp or this Sada'at camp, because that's what leprosy means in English. It's, yes, sir. So these don't apply to us. So it doesn't, in exile, this is not applicable. This is not applicable for us in exile. Okay? Yes, sir. Who's doing the examining? Who you think is doing the examining? Come on, elaborate. You know the answer to that one.
Yeshua is doing the examining.
Yeshua is doing the examining.
And
That's
it says,
correct.
but the Mitzvah says the Kohanim is supposed to do the examining.
That's correct.
But he is God manifest in the flesh, so he knows everything. He sees everything.
Well, that's true. We could go over to Hebrews. Okay.
I mean, well, I said he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be. So that's when someone might say, okay, let's go over to Hebrews chapter number 7, where it talks about he's being compared to Melchizedek, who was a priest. So therefore, he is our Kohanim Hagadol. But I'm going to tell you what the problem with that text is because they said that in that same sentence, by way of making him, because Melchizedek was not from that order, okay? The priests have to come from what tribe? The tribe of Levi, okay? Now, we could establish something else to say he is from the tribe of Levi. Why do we say he's from the tribe of Levi? Because his mama is from the tribe of Levi. Why do we know that his mama's from the tribe of Levi? Because she has blood relatives that are Levites. It says it there in Dr. Luke. It says when she was pregnant, she went to go see her close relative who was from the tribe of Levi. So Yeshua's blood lineage is Levitical. He's a Levite. He's not from the tribe of Yehuda. So he can't be your high priest and your king at the same time. But in this particular instance, okay, we go over to Hebrews chapter 7, and it says, it's very emphatic when it says, we must change Torah to instantiate this person named Christ as our Kohanim Hagadol. There is reason to change Torah in order to fit our narrative. It's blatant. It says it right in there. Okay? But in that particular instance, somebody can say, he is our Kohanim Hagadol. He is the high priest. He can do the examination. But I'm going to tell you what's ironclad later on. Let's read it. It says, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Moved with pity, Yeshua reached out his hand, touched him, and said to him, I am willing. I asked the esteemed Honorable Eleka Stagg here, I said, can Yahweh be unclean? If Yahweh is supposed to be manifested in the flesh in this man, he just reached out his hand and he touched somebody that was unclean, which makes him unclean. When he's in the crowd and the narrative is there was all these people around him and the woman with the issue of blood came up and touched the hem of his garment. Our mitzvot are very clear. We're getting ready to read it when a woman is on her nidah. She is, at that particular time, unclean. So what she did was she pressed her way through the crowd. So everybody she was touching to get to your apparent Most High was unclean too. She left a trail of unclean people just to get to him. And that is why, at the end of the day, he said, oh, who touched me? Technically, we don't hear anything in the text where if he's fulfilling the mitzvah, where you said anything that you being unclean until evening, none of that. None of that's in there. Okay? So I'm just giving you another example of two examples here. One, he touches a leper. That makes you unclean. The Most High cannot be unclean. And he touches the woman with the issue of blood, touches him, which makes him unclean at that particular point. That's why I asked this question. Is there anywhere in our text where the power that we serve comes down anywhere and becomes unclean? You can't even look at the face of the Most High. So how is this possible? Okay? It says, moved with pity, Yeshua reached out his hand, touched him, and said, I am willing, be cleansed. Instantly, the Sada'at had left him. When he was cleansed, Yeshua sent what? Yeshua sent him away with this stern warning. He says, see to it that you tell no one. Instead, as a testimony to the people, go and let the Cohen examine you and offer you for your cleansing what Moshe began spreading the news, talking freely about, so that Yeshua could no longer enter the town openly, but stayed in the country where people continued coming to him from all around. I would have been interested to see when this man walked up to the Kohanim and said, I've been cleansed from my issue of Sada'at. And they would have said, you didn't come in here with any of these offerings that you were supposed to have that we just read in chapter what, number 14? How in the world have you been cleansed? I touched this guy, and he cleansed me. They'd be like, boy, if you don't get up out of here. Okay? This don't measure up with the text that we just read. So if anything, you walk away from that, you might be like, oh, okay, well, there's a lot of speculation over there. No, what I'm not speculating about is the fact that the Most High can't be unclean. And if he is God manifested in the flesh, he wouldn't have touched nobody. Period. And he's still unclean. He said he's still unclean. You say you're unsaved by an unclean person, huh?
He's touched a woman who's unclean.
Mm-hmm.
He's touched a leper, a Zara'at person that's unclean. And there's nowhere in text where he ever went and got clean.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you that he went and, yeah.
He's still unclean.
He said, to this day.
The one that he's trying to get saved by is unclean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you cannot, that is a dichotomy. It cannot be. The Most High could never be unclean. Period. End of story. Okay? We have reached our final destination, and the pilot has pulled the plane into the gate. I've turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. We're getting ready to move about the cabin freely. Okay? Let me bless you. Because I'm just slick like that. No, Vad Midbar, in the wilderness. Numbers. Let me bless you. It's in chapter number 6, verse 24 through 26. Matter of fact, before we do that, any reflections? I'm pretty sure you're going to have questions and other stuff if y'all come up afterwards. That's good. We doing good? We all right with the mitzvot? All right. We're going to continue on with our study of the mitzvot when I come back for the last time in the month of the Gregorian month of January. We got to make sure we make a designation here. So I got one more week. We'll finish up with some mitzvot. Next week, we're going to, if you want to read up on it, obviously we're going to be tackling chapters number 15 and 16, and we are going to get into discharges, seminal emissions, okay? Those types of things. Blood, nidas, those types of emissions, okay? We're going to be talking about that next week. All right, let me bless you. Here we go. Yivareka Yahweh v'yishmareka, Yair Yahweh penav eleka v'huneka, Yisal Yahweh penav eleka v'yasham laka shalom, which simply means in English. May Yahweh, Eye Asher Eye, bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and show you his favor. May Eye Asher Eye Yahweh El Shaddai, Yahweh Rapha, Yahweh Savaot lift his face towards all of you and give you shalom. Until next time, West Coast Hebrews, thank you.